are you ready to be fired up? Because I sure am. I've got John Lee Dumas, and you don't know him, but he has got the podcast, Podcaster's Paradise. It's like the #1 entrepreneurial podcast in the world. He's the genius. John, how are you?
I'm fired up to be here. It's hard to match your energy, but I am definitely going to try. So thanks for bringing it.
Oh, okay. So I was just recently on a Facebook Live with John and Russell Brunson. I will tell you, John Lee Dumas is the person you don't want to ever go up against. In fact, I hope you're not after me at Funnel Hacking Live, because he stole the show, everybody. He's so good at this. So tell us, our listeners, exactly what you do and how doing what you do can help them. I also want to hear about your new book that's similar to Think and Grow Rich, but for entrepreneurs. I'd love to hear a little bit about that as well.
So back in 2012, I realized that I was the average of the 5 people I spend the most time with. And the people that I was spending the most time with, they kind of sucked. And they weren't bad people per se. They weren't evil, but they were lacking motivation. They weren't inspired by anything. They weren't on a great track in life. And I said, I got to surround myself with the right people. So I started doing the things to do that, which was read the right books and then listen to audiobooks and then listen to podcasts. And I was like, whoa, this is really cool hearing these interviews with successful entrepreneurs. But I feel like I want to take this from virtual to real time, to actually be interacting with them in a one-on-one basis. Why don't I just launch my own podcast? So back in 2012, I said, what's missing in the podcast world? Because I want to be something different and unique. I don't want to just bring your same old, same old. And I realized there was no daily podcast that was interviewing entrepreneurs. Every show that was out there was once a week. And I said, well, I'll be different. I'll be the first daily podcast interviewing entrepreneurs. That was 3,000 episodes ago. That was over 100 million listens ago. And Entrepreneurs on Fire is still going strong. As you mentioned, Podcaster's Paradise, which is the #1 podcasting community in the world, is still going strong. And I get to share the stage with Krista coming up in Orlando, which is going to be amazing. And don't let her fool you. Nobody ever outshines Krista. So we're going to have a blast together.
I'm so excited. So I have to tell you, when I started my podcast, which has been about 3 years ago, I took your course, the Podcaster's Paradise course, and it totally set me up what to do. And I listened to it intently. Now we have around 30,000, nothing like you, but downloads a month. So I'm happy about it, because it's kind of my not main thing, and it's all from your training. So if you're thinking about doing a podcast, John's training is amazing. He sets it up, makes it easy for you, tells you what to say, how to do it, and how to actually make it to where it actually is seen by people. And it was very, very helpful. So kudos to you on that. And John started doing podcasts back in 2012 when people just weren't doing them, right? I mean, when you started, weren't you scared, and how did you learn? Kind of talk about that process, because people are afraid of doing things differently. And this community that we're listening to, this kind of entrepreneurial mindset is they just don't realize how much it can help them make a difference locally. So if you can kind of get into that, that'd be great.
I was terrified because I didn't know if there was a real opportunity. I didn't know if podcasting would ever be something that could be turned into a real business that generates real revenue. I was terrified because I was terrible at public speaking, as a communicator, as a host. I had none of those skills. Of course, nobody does until you actually put in the reps. I mean, Krista was speaking in front of 4,600 people last week. And it's the reason why she's going to crush it at Funnel Hacking Live is because she's putting in these kind of reps. She's getting up every day and she's doing the thing. And that's what I do with Entrepreneurs on Fire. I woke up every single day and I put in the reps, getting a little bit better every single day until I didn't suck. I just stunk. And then I went from stinking to just kind of crappy. And then so on and so forth, 3,000 episodes later, almost 10 years later. Yeah, maybe I have some skills when it comes to presenting and talking, communicating, and facilitating a conversation via a podcast, but that did not come day one. That came day 1,000. That came day 10,000. That came from putting in the reps. So listen, all the magic in your life happens outside of your comfort zone. So if you're not feeling fear, if you're not feeling doubt in the imposter syndrome, then you're just cuddled up in a rut in life and it's passing you by. If you're feeling those things, welcome to the real world where people like me and Krista play every single day. She still gets scared. I still get terrified. We still have doubts and fears and the imposter syndrome, but we know that's where the magic happens. So we get up every single day and we play in this world. And you did briefly mention the book that I wrote. Thanks for bringing that up, because it is not my genius. It is the genius of the 3,000 successful entrepreneurs that I've interviewed over the past decade that I've been able to put into a 17-step roadmap called the Common Path to Uncommon Success. So I'm just thrilled that I was able to take the genius of people like Russell Brunson, Tony Robbins, Barbara Corcoran, Gary Vaynerchuk, and put it down into a 17-step roadmap so that people that consume this book, that read this book, that listen to the audio version can get on their roadmap to financial freedom and fulfillment.
Say the title again, John, for me. I want to make sure everyone heard that. We'll put it in the show notes and all that good stuff, but
The Common Path to Uncommon Success.
Ooh, I can't wait to read. That's so awesome. So understand, everyone. First of all, John makes over 8 figures a month, correct? 7 figures, 8 figures a month on the advertising from your 7 figures a month, right?
6 figures a month advertising.
Okay, so I actually know that
I'm
because I
getting
looked
towards
into it.
8 figures though. My goal is 8 figures. That'd be a pretty lofty goal.
No, it wouldn't be a lofty goal. You could do it. What are you talking about? So I'm all like you can do anything you put your mind to. So at 12 years, 2012, he's doing this thing, scared to death. Now people are paying him. I actually called his company. I was like, how much does he want to advertise? I was like, wow, it was unbelievable because he has so many listeners, right? And this all started from him putting in the work. Okay, so let me ask you a question. So a 17-step roadmap, and I know people have probably ask you this all the time. There's not one common thread, but I know like in Think and Grow Rich, he found 16 traits of highly successful people that all of them shared in common. And he found that you could actually get better at them. Are there any traits that you have found from these 3,000 mega successful people in all aspects of life have in common?
3.
Okay, 3. Listen up, everyone.
Number 1, successful individuals, humans, businessmen, women, entrepreneurs, they are productive. And what does productive mean? It means they are producing the right content. So many people think that they're productive. They're just busy. They're running around in circles like chickens with their heads cut off. They're busy doing this, busy doing that. They're not being productive because they're not producing the right content. Number 2, disciplined. Successful entrepreneurs are disciplined. And what does that mean? It means they have a plan of action. Shocking, I know. People actually have a plan. And then they are a disciple to that plan of action. They are literally a disciple to completing that plan of action that they are setting forth each and every day. Then number 3, they are focused. And that's an acronym, the word focus. Follow one course until success. They don't try to do a million things at once. They do one thing better than anybody else. It's that Bruce Lee quote. He's not as scared of the guy that practices 10,000 kicks one time. He's scared of the guy that practices one kick 10,000 times, because that's where the danger is. You want to be focused. You want to follow one course until success.
I love that. That is so good. Being super focused and like they're afraid of the guy that does the one kick. That's awesome. So those 3 things. So let me ask you a question. People will say that one of the hardest things for people to do is to be productive and to stay focused because there's so much distraction. And by the way, you have been the very best person at being the very best at one thing, which is podcasting. And again, you never want to be like on stage with John because the guy knows exactly what to say, how to just like capture everyone's attention. And I had to be the lucky recipient that did that last time. And it was a complete failure on my end. But my point being, you've been great at doing one thing really, really well. What would you say? How can people be more productive and be more, because they really go hand in hand. Being productive and being focused go hand in hand. Any suggestible tips on that? Because I know it's really, people want to know how to do it.
So what it comes down to is really that third thing, because you did say the focus part and the productive part. If you're disciplined, those 2 things are tied together. And what discipline means, and I like to use the phrase, win tomorrow today. So many people wake up, and if you were to just be like, Krista, what are you doing today? And like, I'm not saying that to you right now, but if you were to say that to an individual, they would kind of look at you with deer in their headlights. They're like, well, I haven't even thought about it yet. Like, I got to have my coffee first, and I've got to like wake up, and so like, you're not going to wake up with your plan already in place. Like you're going to let the groggy, tired, sleep deprived human being make your plan for the day. No, you win tomorrow today. So my plan of action for tomorrow, and I'm talking about right now. So tomorrow's plan of action, which is a Wednesday for me, because today's Tuesday, it's already in place. I've already won tomorrow because at noon when I was sharp and I had, had my coffee for the day, I'd already worked out. I put in some reps. I'd done this, I had done that. I'm going on all cylinders. I sat down and I planned my tomorrow today. So when I wake up tomorrow, I already know what I'm doing. All I got to do is execute and follow action so that I am being productive, to answer your question directly, because I am producing the right things because I sat down and knew what those productive things that I needed to do were, because I won tomorrow today.
And you're very good at eating your own dog food. So for example, I know how your system works. Like, John, I got 15 minutes with him today. He's like, that's it, 15 minutes and I'm on to the next. Tell us about you. You're showing a really great form of discipline today. How your schedule works with you and your podcasting. Like, how does it work to where you just get so much done because you're disciplined to follow your routine and schedule? What was your day like today?
So I call it batching like a baller. Batching like a baller. And the reason why I call it that is because it's exactly what it is. It's exactly what I do. I have a lot of people, typically in the hundreds, who are asking me to be part of their show, their program, their Instagram Live, their Clubhouse, all these different things, which are all awesome and valuable. And guess what? It's a valuable use of my time to do these things. It is super valuable for me to be hanging out here with Krista right now, getting a chance to share some of my value that I've gained over the years with her audience. It is super valuable for me to do that. But guess what? Without me batching like a baller and really being disciplined and focused on what it takes to make this happen, I'd have to say no to everybody. Because if I didn't have this batching like a baller system, then I would have to say no to everybody, because I'd be doing nothing except these interviews at sporadic times every day, week, and month. And I wouldn't be running any other parts of my business. So I sat down years and years and years ago and said, being a guest on other people's platforms, OPP, other people's platforms, is very valuable for me and my business. So I'm going to dedicate one day every single month, and I'm going to have 20 available slots, 15 minutes each, back to back to back, where I am going to, in between 5 to 6 hours, knock out these 20 interviews on other people's shows. And there's, no matter how big or small the individual may be, like, if they can't fit in my batching like a baller schedule, then I do have to say no to that individual, because that's just how it is. So today you are at interview 17 of 20. I still have 3 more interviews after you, number 18, 19, and 20. And then I'm going to take my dog Gus for a walk, and my day is done. And I do that one day per month. People are like, John, how can you do 20 interviews a day? That would crush me. And I'm like, it would crush me too if I had to do this multiple days per week. Mm-hmm. But because I know it's one day per month, it's my Super Bowl, Krista. I wake up and I know that today is the one day per month. I've just got to get my coffee in, get my workout in, prep, do all the things, and just get ready to deliver for 5 to 6 hours on 20 different interviews. And by the way, this happens to also be my sweet spot. Like, I love chatting with people like you who have great energy and great success and all these different things. Like, so I'm actually enjoying this at the same time, which is a pretty, big piece of the secret sauce as well.
Well, I want to compliment you, and I also want to be respectful of your time. I know it's 1:55. Everyone, I'm sure you are in front of a man who has accomplished things that most people never will in a lifetime. He's got millions of followers who listen to him, and he's just created absolute success. And he still is a nice guy and has a heart. So that's what I appreciate most about you. And I cannot wait to see you at Funnel Hacking Live. John, would you like to, again, tell them how they can get a copy of your book, or what would you like to promote so we can get that to our audience? And how would you like to end it?
Check out my podcast, Entrepreneurs on Fire, for people that are excited about podcasting like Krista and myself. I have a free course, freepodcastcourse.com. And my book is The Common Path to Uncommon Success. You can get it anywhere you want.
Everyone, listen, you've got some great nuggets here. Go check out John's stuff. It's sure to help you. And remember, it's great to learn, but without implementing, nothing happens. And as always, thank you for spending a small amount of your time. I hope you are just as fired up as I was with John Lee Dumas with Podcaster's Paradise. Bye-bye, everyone. You're awesome. Hey there, I have a brand new podcast called Fired Up with Krista Mashore, where I bring my high energy right to your ears. This podcast is available on all your favorite podcast platforms. So do me a favor, go subscribe and leave a review. All this information is free and I cannot wait to teach you everything I know. Thanks so much for watching my video. You can learn more about how to be a successful real estate professional by watching other videos that I have. And be sure to subscribe to my channel. And as always, make it a great home selling and buying day.